Hey, yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? What they do? Welcome to another episode of the Salute Podcast. I am the boy retired Chief Master Sergeant Pat Wilcox, a.k.a. the Hip Hop Chief, a.k.a. Conscious Rhyme of the group Purgatory. The Salute Podcast is always in the service of dreamers, and we showcase the talent of all current and prior military members and the elements of hip-hop. So if you can rap, also dress fresh, and you served your country, then the salute is for you. All right. So I'm excited about this episode too. So I always have people on here that I can relate to and who I know is my people. And this dude is one of those, man. And before I get into it though, I'm gonna go, let's shout out all our sponsors and get them out the way, man. But like this gonna be another good one. We always have good ones. This is gonna be another good one right here. So let's shout out the sponsors. All right. One time for what's that? Plugs Earbuds at www.gettheplugs.com. Audio Swim at audioswim.com. Premier Element is my man Shorty Pimp, 305 Dade County, all day. Like I always say, they don't just do music, they do sports too. So one time for them, UAE. Let's go down here. You can join that feeling Patreon for $3 for membership. You can get all these podcasts advertisement free. That's what we want to hear, advertisement free. So yeah, man. So go check them out, www.patreon.com at / that feeling podcast. And last here, we're gonna talk about the merch. So yeah, we got merch. Hold on one second. Where's my merch? Dang it. I thought I had it over here. Yeah, got my merch though. I appreciate them. They looked out for you, boy, and they got me some merch. So I'm really excited about that, man. I'm like, yo, I've been waiting on that merch. So if you ain't got your merch, go ahead on and grab you some. They got cups, they got mugs. You know, they got everything you need. My dumb behind went and ordered a shirt, and my doggone shirt was a small instead of an extra large. That was on me.
Can't
but
do
yeah.
that.
I did that. So
the belly button was popping, right?
I know.
Can't do
That's
it.
at www.teespring.com and search for That Feeling Podcast in the salute. All right. So let's get into this. Let's get into this conversation, man. So I always got to tell a story, and I always got to give a little introduction to my family and people I bring on the show. So we're gonna do that right here. So this is a good story though. So I had just came off active duty. I was did 8 years active duty, and I went down. I got on at Homestead Air Reserve Base as a fireman on the civilian side, and then we had to go down and do a in processing. So that was back in the days when you actually got to sit down with people and have an in processing, and you went through everything. So it was about 2003, like November 2003, and so I'm there. I'm in there. And so I'm sitting, I see this brother sitting over there. I'm like, let me go holler at this cat. So let me say, like somebody I can chop it up with. So we sat next to each other. We started chopping it up that day, man. And we started talking about all kind of stuff, man. Come to find out, say he love hip hop. He's an MC. Come to find out, he he do poetry. He got an album out. I just had my album out. My album was, was the Encouraging with Purgatory. So I got an album out. He got an album out. It's like, damn, we got so much in common. And then we started talking about, I said, where you from? I'm from Carol City. I'm from Norland. I went to Norland. You went to Norland. Oh, really? I went to American. So we just started chopping up, and we went to lunch that day. We chopping up, everything good, so we, make connection that day. So first drill, I'm coming to first drill. I got my uniform on. I'm chilling. I walk over here. Man, what the hell? This dude is an officer. This dude is an officer. I thought he was just an enlisted cat. I thought he was some enlisted dude, talking to me. He didn't say not one word about being an enlisted cat. He didn't say not one word about it. So I'm just thinking he's just a regular enlisted dude. No, he's not a regular enlisted dude. He's an officer. He's a first lieutenant. I'm like, oh, snap. You know what I'm saying? So I got to give him the salute. And then I'm like, damn, this was it. So then, it was just crazy like that. And so from that day on, man, it just been a close relationship, man. This man got a story, a crazy story, man. So I'm not gonna take away from his story, but soon after that, I went. What was crazy about that was I talked about this before, man. I went and applied for Miami-Dade Fire Rescue around the same time he did. The difference is he worked for Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. The difference is he passed the physical agility test. I failed miserably. I failed miserably. I was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I was ready. He made it through though. You know what I'm saying?
He'd probably be my classmate.
I probably would have been your classmate, man. I failed miserably on that Stairmaster. You know who was in? Who was there? Big man. What's his name? Muscle Cat. What's that dude name?
Holmes.
He was there. I watched him do it. Me and him, we did it the same exact day.
Well, he was right next to me. Yeah. I was his squad leader. Yeah, he was on my right.
Look at that. I would have been there with you. So yeah. But yeah, man, this cat got an amazing story. He's a nurse. He's a paramedic. You know what I'm saying? He's a poet phenom, man. You know what I'm saying? An MC phenom. He's been on any project that I done had. My album, you know what I'm saying? Unauthorized Bio of Pat Wilcox, he was on there. Anytime I call him up and need something, he's there, man. I mean, he rocked Miami on his poetry tip. I'm just telling you right now. So, without further ado, as I say, I'm gonna introduce my man, Power Words, aka POW, my man Marlon Ferdinand. What they do?
What's up, brother? My brother from another mother. Yes, sir. I'm happy to be here. We talked about this. You let me know, so we made it happen. I am in the building.
Oh yeah.
So we get hit any topic.
You ready? You know what I'm saying? Hey, so first things I always ask, is like, just tell a little bit about your background, because I think you got an amazing story as to how where you started at, and as far as the military, and then where you at now. So I just tell your story. Kind of where you started from, where you came from, what military wise, what you did, military, and then where you were stationed at, and we just start with that, and then we'll just go into everything else.
Well, my family's from Trinidad, so I didn't have a lot of military to back up even that vision, really. I was an okay student. I wanted to go to college, but the confidence wasn't really all there yet. And I got out of class with my boys and took the ASVAB and did good by accident. Yeah, they was like, yo, you take this seriously, maybe you can do more with this, And I can tell you most of my walk was a faith walk. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. They told me what I qualified for. My mom was like, nah, my son ain't going no military game, shoot up and thing. And I was like, my dad was like, hey, do what you're gonna do. And that's what's my journey. I Forrest Gumped it. I was like, okay. Learned a lot real quick. My last name Ferdinand, it stood out, and I'm looking at this dude who looked 8 feet tall with his hat in your face. I'm from Miami, and then quickly I realized it was chess, not checkers. And so it froze up. So that was my start. Was actually in the Army. I started with field artillery, and then I became a combat medic.
Okay.
And then from the medical, I was like, oh yeah, I like this. I'm helping people. Went to Fort Sam. Got that early. We was the first class they tried out the EMT.
Yeah.
I ain't made that cut. I wasn't even mature enough yet.
You didn't make the EMT cut.
Field medic, but we was making it happen. I'll make a stick, be a tourniquet, a crutch. That field medic was a different discipline. And then I got more engrossed in it. And then I decided, well, maybe I can try out nursing. I was like, hey. And I applied to a couple of schools, but I had my eye on UM. I didn't know how much money it cost. I was just happy to get accepted. And sure enough, you baby.
Yes, sir.
So I was one of few males they had in the School of Nursing at the time. It wasn't too many males, definitely wasn't that many brothers. They had perhaps a black male maybe every 3 years back then.
Yeah.
You had a few Latin, maybe out of a class of 75, you have 6 or 7 men. So it wasn't quite like it was. You see a lot more males, but it's definitely a female run world still.
Yeah.
Then I decided, hey, I'm gonna do this nursing thing. I've been in the military a few years. A lot of my people are out of college already, so I felt like I had to really look at my own race. You kind of felt like you behind, but you're not. You're trying to align yourself with you. I decided to put in for a commission. I was putting it with the Army. I was diehard Army. I bit the Kool-Aid. And one particular drill weekend, I had like 3 or 4 people put Air Force in my ear, not even intentional, not even for me or at me. It was about them.
Yeah.
One, I had to sign off. He wanted to be a firefighter. This is way before I thought about being a firefighter.
Mm-hmm.
With the Air Force, I signed off on his paperwork. I was an E6 at the time.
Yeah.
So, I was rolling with the Army. Personally, I had thought at the time the Air Force was kind of soft. Air Force? Nah, I ain't going on that. You know what I'm saying? Riding bike and all that stuff. But I was so convinced that drill weekend that God was trying to tell me to tap the Air Force on the shoulder that I did it. I was like, Air Force? I like, all right. I was just hearing Air Force, and there's no such thing as weird or coincidence. I kind of knew that early. So
Yeah.
I navigated through a different kind of sense of feelers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I called on a weekend, just with a recruiter, not even a nurse recruiter, just to plant seed. I was like, yeah, God, see, I did it. Hey, sure enough, I remember his name because it sounded like Heineken. He said, my name is Master Sergeant Heikkinen. I'm getting ready to retire. You are my last recruit. Welcome to the Air Force. And I'll tell you, definitely one of the better decisions I made. I was a better officer for my time in the Army. I never played out the Army. I was certainly that. But it was a good formula. And I walked that walk. And when that chapter turned, I met you.
Yeah.
So I was learning how to be a new officer because many times that I was ready to give you 5 like this, and you was looking at me like, no. I was forgetting that I had to salute. You had to salute me. I was like, my bad. I'm ready to give you a pound. So it was a kind of a restructuring to see my boys on the base.
Yeah.
And it was a different game from the Army. So seeing brothers like yourself and seeing you do it like you did, it definitely made me proud, and it helped my journey because we came in there together. No matter I was an officer, we basically came in the same time. It was a class of about 30 something people, and it was 8 minorities, like maybe 5 females and 8 guys. And I keep in touch with most of you guys. All of you guys were game changers.
Yeah.
That class, nobody was there just to visit and poke their nose. And now we made some impact for real. It was a mean crew. I was proud to be part of that class. And I did my thing. You know what I'm saying? I did my thing out there. And what kept me going is realizing now that I had a different way to make impact. It wasn't just about me. I enjoyed it. It was a weekend for many years, man. I still can't believe I retired with 30 years in the military.
Yeah,
Nobody
man.
can look at me back in the day. I had that walk.
Yeah.
Nah, but I give thanks for that journey. I really give thanks for that journey.
Yeah, man.
And retired, 04 major, made it to lieutenant colonel board. You had to spend some time in grade to retire that, but I take my major with pride. That was way more rank than I thought that I would see or set my eyes on. And so it's proved walking by faith and not by sight. Sometimes it just simply worked.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
So that was you stationed any other place or just that was it?
Well, in the Army, I was in Ecuador, El Salvador. I did a lot of missions like that. We did a lot of med readies, a lot of field artillery, all them that pounding in your ear. And then in 2009, my last deployment was Bagram, Afghanistan. Okay. 2008, 2009 really changed or 3D'd my whole perspective. This time I spent my 20th year anniversary in Afghanistan. And then, one evening, I was being requested to be with a FOB, a forward operating base, to be like their doctor. And I was excited about it. I was always about that. And then, you start thinking, man, it's different when you was a young buck. Man, I got 5 kids at home. I started thinking, man, dude, 20 years in the game. I don't have nothing to prove. I'd like to hang around for my kids. I ride or die with this military. You know what I'm saying? I fought a good fight. So, I started being more tactical with it and was able to really digest an overall awesome experience. There were some curveballs, certainly, being in a foreign territory. And then, the Army, we always traveled mostly with groups, but it was difficult to sometimes be that one person, 2 or 3 sometimes in a group, but be a one person from a group from Wichita, Kansas or somewhere, and bam, you planting right there, and you charge a nurse over. So it's there's like the war outside the war or within the war, So there's that kind of battle. Then your ego did this. It's a lot of games playing chase, and then it is a little difficult for minorities. I'm not gonna tell you any different. It's strategical. I was the only black male officer actually at that hospital. So whether you like it or not, you stand out, and I ain't asked for that kind of attention. But you gotta rock it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I know you know.
Yeah,
When
I
you wear
know.
that uniform,
So
it's a conversion.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know, what I'm saying? I'm gonna say they always hear, they heard my man MRK talk about it. Black done talked about me rapping at my retirement ceremony. But what I'm gonna say is the person that officiated over my retirement ceremony is sitting right here. Now, most chiefs, they go grab them a colonel, you know what I'm saying? And I knew a couple full bird colonels and colonels I could have called up, man, but this is my man, you know what I'm saying? And we kind of started that, I went from one thing to another thing, and he was there with me at the beginning of that journey. But you know what I'm saying? I wanted to end my career with him right by my side. And he talked me up, awesome, man. Moment. He watched me, this is a witness to watch me rhyme. I'm probably the only chief to ever do it. Hopefully I'm not the last. Hope cats, be true to themselves and go out there and do their thing. And so he watched me do it. So
yeah, you don't know how close I was to beatboxing. I was like, you was flowing. I was like, I was like, that might be unbecoming of a major. You heard me?
It was a good moment though, man.
Yes, it was.
I was really,
I was coaching you to do. He's like, I don't know. I was like, man, you better do that. This is your retirement.
I'm happy I did. Yeah, I'm happy I did it because it was. I wrote the rhyme. I was like, man, I'm gonna say this, and then after that, I had the doggone CE commander. I said it before. Come up to me like, yo, that was dope. He was looking at me like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, but yo, he came up and he was feeling it. That's where you never know who like hip hop.
Yeah, because you remember you came to me, you was like, yo, Major, I don't know. I was like, what? This is your mic. I was nudging you. I want you to do it. I was like, yep, I was there to watch it.
I did. I made it happen.
But you did it like few could.
Yeah, what I want, what I'm saying, you are the first. I had all these, even though you was a nurse in the military, I've had a whole bunch of, what I'm saying, 1 Charlie 5s and other AFSCs, and then like I said, you were not a fireman in the AFSC, but you are officially the first fireman to have on the show. So I just want you to talk about that a little bit, talk about working for Miami-Dade Fire. I worked for Miami-Dade Fire Rescue for a while, but I worked in the more of the civilian capacity, and I was one of the health and safety officers down there. Well, safety officers, safety guys. And so basically what it was, they was like, I can only use my military preference one time. So that's why, it was so hard. And I tried several times to get on. If I had done it the next time when I was working down there, I would have got in. But they only let me use my military preference once.
You had a whole different walk, and you walked that walk. Let me tell you, brother.
Yeah, man.
You change anything, you change everything. You work that. Let me tell you.
So yeah, man.
Well, with fire rescue, I was still learning how to be a super nurse. At the time I applied with fire rescue, I had been a nurse about 7.5 years, but I was working in the ER. Mm-hmm. Back then they used to eat their young. You had to be astute. And but a lot of our technicians, at the time I was at Memorial West, I've worked just about every emergency. Mm-hmm. I worked in Memorial, and our technicians were paramedics, and they all worked at other departments. And this one young lady, who had since become a nurse, actually said, yo, I think you'd like this. You in the military, you seem pretty high speed, you should check it out. So I had never thought that much. Well, I heard about it. I knew it was pretty dope. I heard a lot of good things, but I wasn't really on it. I was still trying to be comfortable as a nurse. I didn't want to school. Let me get in this groove.
Yeah.
My spoken word album had just come out actually around that season. So I said, let me just home in. But I said to myself, I'll apply. Let God do the rest. Just because I don't see the light all the way down on the end don't mean that's not my path, by faith and not by sight again. I tell you, I applied. Then that year and a half, by the time they called me, I had heard about it so much. They were selling me without me asking. I was like, sure, I might have did something dope. Everybody's saying this thing. And the beauty of me becoming a firefighter, I didn't even grasp how it fit into everything until after. Matter of fact, So I wasn't a lot of people didn't know the captain who was in charge was my boy from high school. I didn't know, and he didn't know. We was like, I never said anything because I ain't want no favors. I was gonna do
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
Nolan Viking in the building.
yeah, yeah.
Um, heard, and they asked me, and I said, you know what, nursing ain't going anywhere. Let me go ahead and do this. Um, I had to dig a little deep, but I was already, in shape physically. I was already medically astute. I just had to learn, about being a fireman. So I was able to home in on that. Then I found the joy in it. I was like, yo, I think I'm gonna like this. Then on top of that, because I'm in the military and I, still drill weekend, I didn't even know
Yeah,
we got taken care of on drill weekends. So that's one thing I didn't have to worry about. Nursing, I used to have to negotiate weekends. They'd be like, man, I'll tell you what I'll do. You work here. I'll switch this up. Fire rescue was like, all right, deuces, holler back when you come back. Your paycheck gonna look the same. I was like, give thanks.
yeah,
And I didn't even process that, as a registered nurse already, I didn't have to do the paramedics. I was able to challenge the test, but I did have to do the EMT. So it was a lot of things that I didn't know, but I couldn't plan it better. If I had planned it, I might have messed it up. Sometimes I
yeah,
just had to walk it out. And 16 years later,
yeah.
um, I'm a hazmat driver operator. I thought about originally my plan was to be an officer in fire rescue, but I decided to get the certifications. I had the officership off my bucket list. I wanted to make my money another way and kind of, I got on at 33, so yeah, so I ain't really that much of a sprint chicken. It is really truly a young man's job. I tell you, when I'm on them fire trucks, I used to hop off. Nah, I'm holding on to the bar, look back, make sure I'm moving backward. You hear me? My silver year is gonna be in a few months.
Damn. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Well, I know. You know what I'm saying? I know. I was like, man, that what made me start going into the side, and I wanted to go another direction in fire service. And I was like, you know what? I'm jump off this truck. You know what I'm saying? And sure enough, when I was up at the Pentagon at Andrews Air Force Base, some people that was at Andrews Air Force Base, they probably, they watching. They know what I'm talking about. My
Right.
doggone knee, my doggone, you know what I'm saying? My patella tendon ruptured on the basketball court. And I was like, yeah, this is probably this man upstairs trying to tell me, hey, military, you let that go. This firefighter stuff, you need to go try to think about, moving on.
I used
That's
to play
why.
a lot more ball. I had to slow it down because my body working at 100 is my money.
Yeah.
So I say, Marlon, you about 20 years older than the next dude on this court. You don't got to go through no hole. You know what I'm saying? You work that outside. You don't got to start with big dudes. Hang out in the hip. I had to be more strategic and preserve my
man.
knees, my ankles, because we pay with our body. Them rucksack runs, I'm feeling it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Another thing, I always want to thank you, man, because a couple times you responded to my grandmother. A couple times, you know what I'm saying, over in the towers over there. You know what I'm talking about, the older folks home. You responded to my grandma.
I responded to your dad. Was your dad?
My dad too.
Yeah. I
And my
responded to your dad. He's like,
you know what I'm
Pat.
saying?
I said, do I know Pat?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You
I think
responded
I
to my
texted you. I
father
said, yo, I
and my
just responded
grandmother.
to your dad.
Yeah, man. My grandmother passed like about a year or two ago, man. So, but I always never forgot. You know what I'm saying? You was like, man, I said, yo, man, my uncle too. I think you did my uncle too.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why we doing this. That's why we doing this right here.
Yeah.
I'm just showing you love because you always show me love with different things. So this is my next
anytime
question.
I needed you always sent me what I needed. Bomb tracks. Yo, man, this brother put some nice stuff on Let It Snow. I have some that could only be what it was through your fingers, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
the thing
sir.
with that was what I did for you was at the time, me and our solo, we had kind of split up, and I had this whole album completed that we was gonna be our second album, and I was holding on to it, and one day I was like, hey man, go ahead, you could, and I think I gave you almost all the tracks on what was gonna be the second Purgatory album.
I felt like Nas, I had all these awesome tracks. I was like, what? Yes, my brother.
I was holding on to him, man, but here my question for you, man. I say, how did being in the military influence how you do music?
Well, everything was I can't undermine anything as being a key ingredient on how I write, how I think. I have a lot of music that you can see that the military mindedness is in it. Then I have quite a few military poems. I am one of those artists that I had so much adventure, different things happening in my life. I never got a chance to write about something outside of it. You know how you speak in third person or you talk about something you never had no experience with, but it sounds good. I ain't even ever get to do that. I had so much real world, awesome experiences to talk about. You know, I always tell my son flow too. And I keep telling him, you got a lot to talk about, son. I know that we've been taught that hip hop come in one flavor. You got to have a sawed off, you got to have a chopper, but man, you got a story. You owe it to yourself to tell it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. We need more of that, man, because we don't got a lot of, people telling stories, man. Everybody want to pick up the gun, you know what I'm saying? Talking about how many racks they got, the telephone. We need more stories, man. So that's good on you for telling them that, you know what I mean?
And the opportunities were there. I had opportunities that rubbed me in the shoulder, but there's certain things that had me navigate differently. I mean, the Vikings. We got a couple of hip hop heads came out of there. Poison Clan was my people.
Don't go. You can't give it all away. Now I got down further. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, my bad.
You can't. I got to get to that later. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole other thing. So my next question is, you know what I'm saying? Did you ever think about leaving the military or just leaving all that alone, just to pursue military, pursue your music, rhyming and poetry?
I certainly have. Once I transitioned from active duty to reserves, I was able to still be able to do more than one thing. It did take me away from a lot of other things though, but my relationship with military was changing. Even when I was trying to dodge it, I was being handed this baton, and every time I grabbed it, I was doing something with it.
Yeah.
It was like I was relearning about my own self. So, and then I thought, okay, I can flow. I can't find a reliable beatbox, so maybe I don't rap no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how I started. By the way, I was beatboxing first.
Yeah.
And I'll go away with the military. There'd be some talent show or something. I'd just be sitting in the cut. They'd be like, Ferdinand, get up there, do something. Then I was like, Ferdinand, I'll go up there and I win. So it was like I wasn't given the opportunity to leave it alone. It was like, nah. It was like God said, well, you thought I gave this to you for you? So continually I was and then finally I said, all right. Poetry was nice because now it gave you a voice. If you had something to say, nothing to hide behind. It's just you and the mic. What you gonna say? An opportunity to touch, reach, make people hear what you want to say, even if it ain't that pretty. Deliver a message they wasn't ready. I done made the most grilled up dude come to me with tears. And that you have a voice. So I've done weddings, churches, youth retreats. I've rubbed shoulders with Kanye on his earlier days when he was a poet, just not recognizing who he was to be. It was just him, a lot of rub shoulders with people who you realize they're just us, who's given an opportunity, was able to, that talent you got, that talent we have, but we still have a voice. And poetry gave me an opportunity to still have tentacles and spiritually provoke some minds and lift folk. So I used it as such. But my original love was flowing, and here I am back at it, still realizing, yo, you can still chop up some lyrics. If my son is like, yeah, and my daughter, I got 4 daughters, and they don't give love easy. I like, go, yo, what y'all think? They're like, nah, I don't know, Dad. So it was like, so one day it was like, yo, Dad, you spitting that one on. I was like, oh, yes. You happy when your daughter say, my son say my thing is dope. Yo, Dad.
That's how I old my son. My son and mine too. They be looking at me like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah, right here. And lately I could see, I have one daughter. She don't want to get up, but I could see her with this last project. She was sort of in awe. I played like I wasn't looking. I was like, yeah. She didn't want to bob her head, but it was like she was listening to my lyrics. So it just let me know. Because to them, I'm still just dad.
Yeah.
I've been doing this. You know what I'm saying?
Same thing over here, man. I'm just
you looking for the love in the crib?
Yeah.
You better
You know what I'm
find
saying?
another way to love it yourself. Don't be looking for that validation at the house.
Yeah.
But I springboard off of them,
Yeah.
and they all gave me some earnest ears. They all have their favorites. Daddy, play this, so this kind of cool.
Yeah. So what now we talk, so what influenced you to become an MC and then a poet? What was your influences?
The BIGDWDYKANE, dramatic, Asiatic, unlike many. I'm different, so don't compare me to another, because they
What?
can't hang. Word to the mother. Well,
Yeah.
back in the day, that's what back in the day when I had my fat
I
top,
want to jump in
they
there
said I
with
look
you.
like
Like,
it.
yeah.
But he was one of my first. Even Rakim, I got caught up in the flow, the beauty of the relationship between the words. Not just that you can stay on track and rhyme, but that you could marry it.
Yeah.
Rakim showed me something like that. Big Daddy Kane already had it, but he was able to just, so you can't downplay. It's almost like taking, the old school Will Chamberlain's, comparing them to the LeBrons.
Yeah.
You got to get that era that props. What was required of that era was different.
Yeah.
Just like I told my man Roy Thomas, like there's some new things. We had a little
I saw
thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's a cute dog. So y'all.
Yeah. But it's all blue and white. Yeah, I know. We was in Afghanistan before he was a cute. And he already told me, hey, I done did something different. So good brother, man. But it's all about that blue and white though, that Phi Beta Sigma. PHIBETA. Spring of '91, University of Miami, baby. Epsilon Delta.
All right, you got that plug up in there. Yeah.
They call me Hitman.
I'm still trying to decide what I want to do, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't tell you what it is.
I
didn't tell you. I don't vouch for too many.
All right, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I'm saying? My next question is let me see. Do you miss being in the military?
Well, I did for a hot minute until I was able to try to appreciate not being in it. Because to be honest with you, I spent my whole adult life in the military. I ain't know how to not be in the military.
Me too. Just
I spent my 18th birthday in boot camp.
Oh wow! No, I was a little older when I went in though. Yeah.
So it was like it was like a little divorce with family,
Yeah.
An agreement, sort of. But when I look back, oh man. Whether it wasn't until Command Chief told me, he said, Ferdinand, do you realize how few people did it like you did it? It didn't dawn on me that way. And it made me reappreciate it because I don't always see it.
Yeah.
You think about what more you could have done. And sometimes I'm a little too hard on myself.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I've learned to not take myself so seriously. But again, it wasn't some story of brilliance and having it all figured out.
Yeah.
It was a faith walk.
Yeah.
Word.
Man, I feel you, man. For me, you know what I mean? It was like bittersweet. But once I hurt my knee, I was like, you know what? This is what. And then, I say it all the time. My girl don't like when I say it, man. But I'd be like, look, man, I was in the, you know what I'm saying? I was at the Pentagon, got a chance to do some stuff that a lot of people ain't, they be in the military their whole time. And they don't never step foot in the Pentagon. They want to go, you know what I'm saying? I've been able to have a lot of good experiences in the military. I was able to do a lot. I was able to rise all the way to E9.
Yeah.
While I'm sitting here on this doggone show
E9.
and I'm the hip-hop chief.
You went from slick sleeve to the highest rank on the enlisted side. I got 11 promotions to make it where I made it. And I give thanks for that work. I was able to have impact in ways, spearhead and run programs. Yeah. And you can see now the Army and the Air Force is different in a couple of ways. Army, you go to, it's for one, it's a different culture. For two, the racial boundaries are very polar between those two.
Well, I know
it was a real culture.
So I know.
Yeah. And in the officer corps, a whole nother thing. That's even just the Air Force. It's just different. So you stand out whether you like it or not. Sink or swim. We see you, all eyes on you. So you had to think quick, make it look easy sometimes when it wasn't. But man, the walk, sometimes they say if you end big and you start with a, like combat ready, the middle is just what it is to get you there. And that's why I wouldn't change anything, really.
Yeah, man.
Even there's a few things that I wish went differently, and I would have probably strategized, but in the end, if you change anything, you change everything.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
have
man.
attitude of gratitude in the now, in spite of what's going on in the world. Too much to
Yeah,
give
man.
thanks for. Word.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? That was my, like I said, when I made it the chief, I saw a lot of stuff change. People, walked to me different, acted different, kind of, I knew what something had changed when I made, because it's 1%. Everybody now walking around with that chief stripe on. So I knew once I made it, I was like, okay, well, I know I got to maneuver a little differently. I fought all the way to get here, and I got my maneuver a little differently. But to be honest with you, man, I really don't miss the military like that, man. I guess, I'm kind of cool, man. My girl said, don't say that, you know what I mean? But I mean, it was, I thought I was going to really miss it a whole lot once I got out. But once I got out, I was like, nah, I don't really.
I think the difference between you and I and many others too, a lot of people, they set their whole Maslow hierarchy of needs around the military.
Yeah.
You always had a big space left for family.
Yeah.
You left a big space for creativity in your art. That's where we buried stuff at. You know what I'm saying? You always kept, you had your other things that, so you had it balanced. Some people, they just bought it. So when that's removed, they feel totally stripped.
Yeah,
and I missed some of the effect that I was able to have when others wasn't going to do it. I missed the opportunities to help those who needed it, and it wasn't even just by my race or anybody, but I was able to be a comfortable avenue for people to knock on my door because I knew there was a gap between the enlisted and the officership. I was enlisted for 14 years Army, so I knew, there was this thing, the officers couldn't mingle with the NCOs,
Yeah.
And I said, rank has nothing to do with the friends you chose. You know what I'm saying? So I always had to strategize, keeping it real. And naturally, you knew it. I was one of the few officers in the chow hall with the enlisted.
Yeah.
But you remember, I was 14 years enlisted before I became an officer. I'm still a new officer. I'm enlisted in the heart. So I had to I did have a good balance, and it was respected because they knew I wasn't afraid to low crawl in the mud with them. But I I could go like this real quick. I had to, so what's up?
Yeah.
And then
that's why I wanted you to do my retirement ceremony, because you walk like I walk. We were the same. So when you walked up there, you had your uniform, we walked the same. It wasn't like, the uniform was wearing us. We was wearing the uniform.
Yes. And
that's the difference is we was wearing the uniform. Difference. It wasn't wearing us.
And people say, man, you ain't changed.
No.
You ain't supposed to change. Well, not the core of who you are. I had to be more tactical with how I did things, because whether you liked it or not, and you knew it, eyes was always on you. And then I had this thing that stands out without my permission. So you just got to know, make impact.
Yeah, that's what I did. Same exact story. Yep.
They put me in head of positions where they wondered if I would succeed, and I rocked it. And even I learned on the job what I'm capable of. Be honest with you, I ain't come there like I was like, oh sure, all right.
Yeah.
When when you look back, you could be proud of those moves.
Yeah.
And show your kids something. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. It's different, man. Like I say, man, when I got a chance to work with a lot of officers, I started to see, I was like, man, this, because, you was like one of the first kind of, officers I was around like that. You know what I mean? When I got into, when I worked for DITRA and I got into that world, when I was working around nothing but officers, and then I went to the Pentagon, well, nothing but officers.
Yeah, officers everywhere.
Everywhere. Everybody's an officer. So I was like, I saw how they saw me as a chief and an enlisted, and I saw how, I saw them, you know what I mean? And it was a different vibe. And I think when it's a difference between working at a headquarters or in a Pentagon than being on a unit. When you at a unit, you an officer. It's like one of you guys, everybody spread like this. But when it's a whole bunch of them, they just
like,
people. You know what I'm saying? You see them, hey, what's up? I go in the urinal and go to the bathroom. They standing there, hey, what's up, chief? And I look up and I'm standing next to a 4-star general. That's how I would be. I'd be
that was funny when I came over to the Air Force, because in the Army, we could have been homies for 4 years. I wouldn't know your first name till one day by accident. Your name, Patrick? You were Wilcox or Sergeant Wilcox.
Yeah.
Not in the Air Force. They'd be in full brass. Yo, Sally. I was like, so that was a culture. Yeah, y'all call each other by the first name. Army was about that life. So so I still bought some of my. I didn't fully undo who I was.
Yeah.
I just had to recalibrate it a little bit.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
it was definitely a change.
Yeah, man.
Good change though.
I like it, but I don't miss it. But my next question for you, man,
Yeah, I
is
did 30 years. I did
yeah,
what I had to do.
yeah. I saw my 24.
Mhm.
24 years. I did my 24 year. Salute out. That's how I look.
Made your impact and you did it.
I did my
If you
thing.
didn't leave anything, you'd be like, man, I could have done this, but
Yep.
I ended up doing way more than I set out, and I give thanks for the opportunity. So I had a lot of people who still call me as a mentor, still call me major, still call me big bruh, and some awesome relationships. And I learned a lot about myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, man.
But it's a wrap
Man,
now.
I was the
Next,
hip hop chief the
I'm
whole
watching my
time.
kids.
Yeah. I was the hip hop chief before that, and I'm the hip hop chief now. I never
Yep.
changed who I was. I'm staying, so I know what you mean, man.
I was POW, before I was major.
Yeah.
I was flowing.
Doing
I
your
think
thing.
in high school I was Kumar Ski at first.
Cast it.
Then I was IBM. I was back then Kumar Ski. Then I was IBM for International Baseball Scene. That's when I was like, you know what I'm saying? That's when
Yeah.
I,
Hey, that's why this is salute.
then I was
This
doing
is
little
salute.
words coming in, and then
Yeah.
I was writing my homeboy, who's still one of my best friends. He's an attorney in Jacksonville. He's like, yo, you can flow. Let's tell Blind. And then he was like, nah, you ain't ready. And I was like, I'm ready. And they gave it up, and I picked it up.
Hey, my name was Cool CT. Don't feel I was cool. I was cool, cute, and talented.
Yeah, the shag.
You know what I'm saying?
Those, yeah, man. Different days, though. Different days.
Different days. You can't be cool, cute, and talented now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, one or the other.
So what was one of your most memorable hip hop moments while you was in the military?
I had a couple.
Mm-hmm.
It took, stationed in Fort Gordon and Fort Bragg, going to the NCO club and flowing on the mic. But I remember one day, it was just hundreds of people, and there was one rap I did called AT. This isn't the place for me. I'd rather be chilling in Miami. I can't run, so I stay for the rest of it. So let's just make the best of it. AT, this isn't the place for me. I'd rather be watching my MTV. There's no need make a fuss, right? A couple wake ups and a bus ride. I don't even know how to remember that. That got to be 18 years, easy.
Dang.
But it was everybody was in it. That was a dope moment. Then I run a talent show. Last round, flowing. That's when my last name is Ferdinand. My first name is Marlon. Once you get to know me, you might call me your darling, or maybe crazy. And if you want to know, ladies, I'm 5'11" and away a $180. I mean, And I remember I was flowing to pick it up.
Come on now, the home team, of course.
Yeah. So I had some good moments that let you know I can still flow, because I try to kind of let it go. It just it never let go of me.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. Like I said, I always say on him, I had a bunch of them, man. I think one of my most memorable was meeting Rakim, man. When I met Rakim, he touched my hand. All I said was he had the softest hand. I always say that, man. That kid had the softest hand. You can tell he ain't never did a day of work. All he did was grip the microphone. That was it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Killed those mics.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
easy.
But now that you mention it, probably a real big moment that really I had to see it to realize. Through when I was in Afghanistan, they had a poetry night. And I was like, poetry? I went over there and I was like, wow. But I was the only officer coming. It was more an enlisted thing, and it started getting bigger and bigger, and more people started coming. It became a big deal. I ended up doing poetry for the general. So I still have a video. It's on my YouTube channel. I'm doing your joint too. This is for my soldiers. And I got a weapon on my side, and you can see the brass. You hearing weapons fall on the ground, but it was rank everywhere. That was a big moment. That was because I couldn't believe it was happening. Like, yo. And, way over here in Afghanistan. And then they made a Captain Ferdinand's Corner. I was a captain at the time. And they had a radio station for the encouragement hour. So they used to play my CD. They used to play like 5. And then I would speak or do a poem. It was for the encouragement hour.
Yeah.
These are things you had to be in the moment. I don't even roll them off as a resume. It was just opportunities that was presented, and I got a chance to touch. But now you're
Correct.
making me think about them. So there was a lot of moments that you just had to be in place and walk that walk.
Yeah, man. I can imagine, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I tell people about, the time when I got to perform in Korea it was a benefit for some kids, some orphans. And I got to perform. I got to rap up there and perform, and I got it on my EPR. I mean, that was that was a interesting moment there, because I wasn't, but they let me off to do it, and it don't happen all the time. That happened that day.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's one of the military moments that you like, okay, yeah.
And military definitely helped me with my travel, because a lot of times when I would travel with the military, I'll find a joint, a spoken word joint. So it was like I was on tour.
Yeah.
Like if you had a weekend, I'll grab a couple of my buddies, couple of Enlisted, hey, let's do this poetry spot. I'll go in there. So I'll come there with an entourage of Enlisted who stuck at the base and grab the mic. I had a lot of opportunities like those. I just,
Yeah.
church, a wedding, just able to, hey, put in there, you can do something. Always had something in the pocket. So I made it fun.
Yeah, my man MRK said when he was on here, man, he was like, we helped spread, you know what I'm saying, the poetry, hip hop, whatever. We spread that in the military. We took that to different places.
Yeah, we did.
People who had maybe never even thought about doing hip hop or poetry, anything like that. We took that and spread that through the military in different places. So yeah.
We did.
Yeah, man. So I think we already touched on this, but I'm gonna ask you, see if you got something else you want to add to it. You know what I mean? I say, what was it like for that journey from enlisted to officer? I think you already said something about it, but if you want to elaborate more on it, go ahead.
It was adventurous because E6, that's some real rank in the Army.
Yeah, that is.
But you go over to the Air Force and now you have to think as an officer. So, you had to change your perspective. I came with a lot, but I had to back some of it down, a little bit. You can't put your big joke on the table right off. You had to kind of understand the new relationship. But it was harder for new officers fresh out of college to understand the relationship between enlisted and officer. Me, I got it. Yeah. And so that was a big part of being a real officer, a good officer, is being able to understand your strength, your legs, the backbone, which is the enlisted, which and the officer, the formula to which the brain and the enlisted balance out. So you knew, if you knew that, you didn't have to step on toes. It didn't have to be an ugly ride. I got along with everybody. Every now and then you got to click though. Yeah. You know that you have to, and then they respect you.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes you got to click, and hold your ground on something you believe in.
Yeah.
And I created some good principles, and I was able to, share and really have a healthy group of mentees that became awesome mentors. And I think that was the thing the military was missing. We lost. Everybody took their knowledge and retired with it. Mm-hmm. It became a doggy world created because of other little deposits of cancers in their own way, Yeah. But I seen the military change in those 30 years. It should have changed some, but I don't think all of it was for the camaraderie based for the group,
Yeah, man. I noticed in the, at first when you enlisted, you really don't realize that you get to working with a bunch of officers. I started noticing, and I realized that they really didn't know anything about the enlisted. They really relied on the enlisted or the CNCOs to tell them what to do or what was going on. So, to me, this is why the stuff I didn't like about the military. We finna get in that next, but this is one of the things I didn't really, what I'm saying, because I saw how these chiefs would do. What I'm saying, they try to do it to me a couple times. I'm like, look, man, get out there with that, because I already know the game. I'm gonna play that. They be like, the commander, he doesn't know. He might have an idea. He don't know much about enlisted dude. He gonna ask the chief. Hey, chief, what you think? Or the senior master sergeant, either E8. Hey, what you think about this guy right here? You know what I'm saying? And they pretty much run that. They'll say, okay, you want to discipline this guy, you want to do whatever. They're gonna ask the enlisted rank guy what he thinking, what he wants to do. And in the way that the enlisted guy would do, hey, the commander made me, the commander told me to do it. He pointed off on the commander when it was really him. I seen that happen so much, man. I'm like, y'all so full of, but I couldn't do that. If it's me, it's me. The commanders really didn't know. They just really didn't know. Unless they were like you, who was an enlisted before that, they really didn't know. And they really relied on that enlisted. And that was a double-edged sword. If you had a good chief or a good senior master and a good, a good guy, he made that work the right way. If you had a excuse my French, an asshole, you had one of them cats.
I saved a lot of butts. I saved a lot of butts, but you know what? I've been saved before too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I understood, and a lot of officers wasn't able to bridge that understanding. They wasn't able to see outside of their tunnel vision to see that bigger picture. And I think that was one of the things I was able to add. Often you don't realize it until the end. Trying to create that camaraderie.
Yeah.
Because as the war jumped off, the whole paradigm really shifted.
Yeah.
It was a different perspective. The federal, you never heard any money not meeting the pockets federally. You never even heard about a county having that issue. Now it's a different
whole other world now. Oh, I know. I deal with
holding out on drills. I'm like, what? That's new.
Yeah. I just deal with some budget stuff today. Man, I deal with budget stuff every day, down to the last penny. When I can remember when it was like, we do some hazmat equipment. You want that? Boom. They would just throw you a hazmat trailer. $1 million hazmat trailer to show up. You're like, what? $1 million hazmat? Where you get that
it's
money
not like
from?
that anymore.
It definitely ain't like that no more, man. So this leads to my next question, man. So what did you like about the military, and what did you least like about the military?
I like that if you made a decision, you can find ways to make it work for you. It wasn't designed for everybody. Sometimes you didn't know it was a place for you until you got in there. One thing I don't like, though, nobody volunteers information. If you ain't snooping, if you ain't looking, turning over leaves, you could really spend a decade in the military and really be ignorant and don't know anything. You got to be nosy. I had to snoop around. You had to listen. You had to really keep your company, your iron sharpened with iron, folk around you, who know can keep you. Otherwise, you find yourself in a pond by yourself. I didn't like some of the dog eat that that became. But with wisdom, you start knowing who is who, and deposit on who needs it, who it don't take long with our years of service to know who your life is, who your impact game changers are. So one of the things I used to do, I used to make sure people got their medals. A lot of people didn't. Nobody was tapping nobody on the shoulder, and that's why we was losing good people.
No.
And I had the record for giving the most meritorious service. I said, let me see your last 3-4 OPRs. I see you doing your thing. I'll look at it, and I said, now these are the things that I like about your OPR and EPR. Write them in paragraph form. Let's see what we can do to start working on an award. The better it look, the higher I can go.
Yeah.
And I put them to work, know about your own gifts, and watch me do magic for you because I see you. I did that for a lot of people because I saw the missing link. I wanted people to hang around, good people to stay. I wanted the unit to be better. Sometimes you end up caring more than you know what I'm saying? I had to balance family and military. I think I did a pretty good job of that. But there's times when, you can bite the Kool-Aid. You know how that is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man.
Be so military minded that you forget to hug your kids.
Yeah.
This ain't drill.
Yeah.
Even though I have told my daughters to do push-ups, when you don't want to pop them, you got to be creative. Drop and give me 15. I've done that.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I probably did something like that too, man. But some things I think I touched on a couple times on here, man. What I like, what I did. So I like all the free stuff you was able to get in the military. I do like that. Anytime you was able to get something free, I definitely like that about the military. As soon as you get out here, for you young people, think about getting out the military. As soon as you get out here, all that medical, everything belongs to you.
Man, there's a lot there.
You got to pay for that.
I missed that part of the enlisted side because we enlisted, you get everything free. When you become an officer, you paying for everything. They were like, you got the money, dog. You ain't getting nothing. You paying for your own food, So I missed that part. I missed that. You ain't gonna give me that hat and that uniform? Nope. It's $36 for these pants, $42 for the top. You got your USA card? Yeah. So
yeah, they do that. Yeah.
Enlisted, they just say, hey, you go. What size you is? That's it.
Yeah.
So I missed that part. but it was
Well,
worth the walk.
yeah,
It
man.
was worth
I
the walk.
remember that too, man. I learned that too, dealing with officers. I didn't know that either. I started dealing with officers. Like, oh, I paid for this and this and this. I'm like, oh, you do, but you make a hell of a lot more money than me. Your retirement check look a lot more than my retirement check.
I
That is
like.
for sure.
I take it.
Stuff I least like, man. You know what I'm saying? I touched on some stuff before. Some things I least like about the military.
And
We
we've
used to say,
interviewed each other for years.
yeah,
And I walk. Oh, I've
yeah,
called
man,
you some nights, and you call me some nights.
yeah,
Yeah, we
man,
both like, yo.
yeah, man,
Throughout the years, we knew we had healthy shoulders in each other too.
yeah,
So you had to have those because some days
yeah, man.
it can go wrong.
It's like that, man. Some things I least, man. It's always gonna be political. I mean, it's always gonna be that stuff, man. I just think that I hated it. It's like sometimes it could be a big good old boy network. It could be that way. If I got my friend, I like him, I'm gonna hook him up, whatever. I could tell you, like I said, all the great stuff. I got to travel. That stuff is always, I can't take that away. It changed me, made me into a man. That kind of stuff. It was other stuff that I wish I could have went back and like, I could do without that. I at least like that, you know what I mean? And just all that good old boy stuff. I'm gonna look out for my friend to do this, and I'm gonna get this cat some rank. I'm gonna help him his EPR, OPR look good, and I'm gonna fudge it. When this cat he ain't did nothing. He done failed like 10 PT tests, but now he get a meritorious service medal, and you don't get. Yeah, I saw stuff like that going. So the military is human oriented. So as much as people try to use EPRs and try to OPRs and do all that stuff, it's a human writing your OPR and your EPR. If they don't like you or they think something about you, they're going to make your rating low. So it doesn't make a difference. I don't think they're ever going to make a EPR or OPR that's going to be something that's going to be perfect. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Because humans do it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. So my next question for you is, so do you put any kind of experience? I think I know the answer, but do you put any of your military experiences in your music?
Oh, for sure. I had so many deep moments that I had to put something on paper. I didn't know what it was going to be yet, whether it was going to be a rap or a poem. So I came up with a couple. Wrote a song about it. But yeah, there was really truly from the heart. It's kind of cool when you don't got to make up a story. You just kind of got to get the pen to the paper, and it's just there. And I mean, you arrange this and put it here, and voila, there's those.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, wait till I talk about this. They're right there in front of you. So I definitely, I must say, probably some of my most powerful poems are military related. They are.
Yeah, I do it too, man. I mean, me and T, we good, man. Every rhyme we talking about Panama, Korea, because those moments were very influential. We went to other places. We only gonna talk about the good places that you want to be. I'm not making a rhyme about Shaw Air Force Base in South Carolina. No, I'm not making a rhyme about Panama City, Florida, in the Panhandle. No, that was not no place that I was. Oh my God,
oh man, I heard about over there.
We're gonna talk about the places that really influenced us. And that really, you know what I'm saying, that really meant something to us. So yeah, I talk about stuff like that all the time, man. We good at that, man. Me and T, on our first album, Op Solo, I say T Op Solo. On our first album, we had a song called Panama. You know what I'm saying? And we done subsequently after that, almost every other project we had something where we talked about something to do with Panama or Korea. So yeah, man, I think if you do something long enough, you're gonna get better at it, and you're gonna reference it. Something experienced in your life, more over and over.
It's real. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure, man. So my next question is, what were some of the lessons you learned in the military, and if you could do it again, what would you have done different?
Wow, I've learned so many powerful lessons. I mean, I had learned some basic lessons even from the house. Every argument is not meant to be entertained. Or the biblical one that held me down and helped me not choke somebody out a couple of times. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. And when you would listen, a lot of times you realize, ooh, I don't got to speak. You see all you need to see. And so there was a lot of lessons about the importance of silence, the importance of speaking up, the importance of having your confidence in place, the importance of having a strategy in place and in mind, even as it relates to my color.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
There's often it's 100, 200 people, maybe 3 or 4, and you may not see the other 2 or 3 until an hour later. Oh, in the back, So that's small. It's a catapult though. In the Army, it's often opposite. You know what I'm
Oh, I
saying?
know.
In the Army, it's often opposite. I used to walk. If I knew if I wanted me some curry chicken and some oxtail, I was walking to the Army Chow Hall, a couple blocks down. You know what I'm saying? I want me some nice chopped up cucumbers with some potato, some good potato salad. Air Force had it all locked. So I had whatever
Yeah.
I had. It was a different culture. But the best thing you could do is know yourself. Know yourself.
That's good
And don't
advice.
don't be real with yourself. Own that you need to study in this area, that you need to tighten your game. Decide where you want to be, or like it said in the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, begin with the end in mind.
Mm-hmm.
While we added another powerful one is seek first to understand, then to be understood. That one kind of got me far because there's sometimes like I could have took it the wrong way, but I saw that this issue he has is older than me.
Yeah.
It almost had nothing to do with me. However, if you do it again, I may take it personal, but not now. You table it. But again, think win-win. It's one way or the other, this gonna work out.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of tools that I picked up. I gravitated to as I got higher in rank, you just recognize you have less mentors. And first it feels like, man, who I'm gonna talk to, but I think it's by design. At some point, you need to pick on your big boy drawers and be your own mentor. Dig in. What are your gifts? What are your focus? What are you passionate about? How are you gonna how are you gonna express who you are with this rank, with your platform? How you gonna make an impact? How you gonna make a difference? Or what you're here for then? To look good? To flaws represent? I had my season where, it felt good, but I was like, man, I got way too much more I could be doing here. It was cool to be an officer. Remember, I came in from the Air Force, enlisted, no rank, slick sleeve Army.
Yeah.
And here I am in Afghanistan. You walking down the block, 14, 15 people. Good morning, sir. Good morning. And you turn your head to talk to the person next to you. There's 20, 30 people who said good morning, sir, that you ignored because he asked you a question. So sometimes, first it felt good, like, yeah, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And then after a while, he's like, man.
I just see them run away. You see officers try to hide. They be like, they be
okay.
running.
So you peel away of where you think your ego stands, and hopefully you get to learn something deeper than the respect at least your rank got, that maybe you didn't earn. So I just decided I was going to be real. I wasn't going to turn the volume down on my swag, but I was going to give you results. So it made you have to process the two. There was nothing I can do. You already know. It was like Shaft music was playing sometimes when I was walking.
Yeah, I know. Who you talking to? You know what I'm saying?
I loved it for a lot of other people because you can see them being encouraged. Like, wow, look at him wear the uniform. Look at him doing that. I feel good about that. That I can encourage. And 30 years, I left something. And the other day, I bumped into a firefighter whose dad was in the military with me.
Yeah.
He said, "Are you Major Fernand from the home?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "My dad talked about you." I was like, "It looks like," and I was like, "Wow." I get things like that sometimes, and it just let you know you touch somebody, if nothing else.
Yeah, you did, man. Hey, I got a book for you right here. I keep this book on deck. I gotta lean over here. You talking about books? If you don't have this book,
Rich Dad Poor Dad. That was my first finance book. That was my first book of finance, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I had to read it like twice to really grasp it.
Yeah, me too.
I was kind of young. I remind you, I got a book. I forgot to tell you all about it.
We're gonna talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
I forgot all about it.
Forget on the end.
I got to be better at talking about my own stuff. I'll be forgetting. I ain't say websites. I ain't say this. So I know you got me anyway.
I'm gonna catch you up. I'm gonna get you. I ain't gonna let you get out of here without talking about the book. I got you. I got you, my man. You know what I'm saying? So and I'm gonna piggyback on some of that, man. You know what I'm saying? If I could do things differently, I'm saying some things you can't change. Like I said, I'm a black man. I was a black man in the military. What I'm gonna do? You know what I'm saying? There's some things that we need to work on culturally wise in the military that I think we could do better at. But I mean, unless you could paint your skin over, I mean, people can see you, and people are gonna come. And like I said, once I'm gonna say it again, you can't change. It's human. It's humans in here. And so some people that might write your OPR or your EPR, they might just not like. They might have a thing about color or somebody. You don't know that, but they're writing your EPR and they're writing your OPR. Long as there's humans, it's there. You know what I'm saying? All you can do is be the best individual that you can and just keep doing what you're doing. That's my word of advice for these young people. Keep being and doing what you can do. And that's it, man, because you can't rub this off. You can't change how you talk. I mean, I'm from Dade County. I'm from Miami-Dade County. You know what I mean? I talk like how I talk. I might talk a little fast. I might do what I do. But you got to understand what my culture is. I'm a mixture of all Caribbeans. You know what I'm saying? Latins, black people. All that mixture is what make me a Miami-Dade person. And my man here can attest to that. So, I came in the military just being myself. And I'm still being me. So, yeah. That's my thoughts on that, man. But so what advice would you give an artist that are in the military now? What advice would you give them?
Make sure you bring the totality of your experiences in the mix. The world need to hear more of the story of the 1%. Different perspectives, different angles, different ways they can appreciate. I didn't realize how many people are actually angry when people say, thank you for serving. But then I was able to grasp their perspective, but at the same time, they just don't get it. They don't understand it. So we need to talk about it a little bit more. And so I always saw that there was something missing. So even in the spoken word platform, I was sort of an uncle in the game when it first came out. So in poetry first came in a couple of flavors, but not too many. One of them, the revolution was always, we're going to retell if I came angry or bitter about love in many. That was just a lot of the two stations. And I knew that I definitely was a big part of a shift, because it was made to do, hey, here go one of our happy poets, because I was never there angry. I had a few, but for the most part, it was an outlier. You could talk about the revolution, you could talk about the hate love. Yeah, I might have had a few experiences, but people know they're gonna get knowledge, something deep out of POW, and I'm gonna try to uplift some energy. And then at the same time, one act of love, mentorship, whatever it is, and keep it real. And so the angles that I can speak to a young man and a young woman is, the military. I realize we've been in the military a long time. It's almost when we just retired at the same time, so we got to see the panoramic view of change. When we got in the military, I know when I got in, it was microfiche. We'd get traveler's checks. It wasn't no digital, nothing. Email didn't come out until about my 11th year in the military.
Yeah, I remember when it came out. Trust me, I remember when I got my first email. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? That's a whole nother story. I gotta tell you about that email story.
I watched email. So the whole thing has changed. Now it's super tech, aerospace, a whole new branch. So we played our position. It's like I was telling my son, at some point I had to recognize, the 45-inch record and the 8-track tape. Did it, my parents did their thing for the CD and the tape, and the tape that used to pop. Now I'm supposed to get into the minds of my younger MP3s and these WAV file minds and try to navigate a different way of thinking.
Well, I'm on that. I'm in the same boat, bro.
And so show them love, show them consistency, the basic tenets. It ain't no real magic, be real. There's a lot of fake personalities, but the really you are with yourself, you start weeding them out. You may not be able to avoid an argument, but at least you understand who's speaking to you.
Yeah.
You're not surprised. You're not, people tell you who they are, believe them.
Yep. Maya Angelou.
Show empathy, show love. Yep. Just because you see it and there's something that really true, or you don't gotta act. You don't gotta, they had a whole yesterday before your today. So I ain't gonna judge them just on that now. We all graded on the curve,
Yeah.
but I remember things.
Yeah, man. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm about to take a pause for the calls, but I'm gonna say my little story about my technology email thing. I gotta tell this story. It's a good one. Then I'm gonna take a pause for the call because I know Black gonna kill me because I went through this whole interview and I did not take a pause for a call so he can throw. But I
Oh,
know he's
yeah,
gonna
we
throw
was
some stuff
going
in
at
here.
it.
He gonna
Oh,
throw some
yeah.
commercials in here, but I gotta take a pause. But before I do that, I'm gonna tell you the story. So back in 2001, I'm in Korea, just getting used to this whole email thing, email technology. And so I see this one girl, man, I want, try to get with her, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I said, what best way to do this than to send a nice email to this girl and say, hey girl, what's going on? So I saw you the other day, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Now, I did not understand that there was a thing on it called spell check. And I did not realize how bad of a speller I was. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't understand what spell check was. So I'm in there studying that thing. I send that thing off to her.
Damn.
Man, she took that thing and she sent it to all the females on the base. Like, look at this fool
She had
trying to
red
get
ink
with
all
me.
over it.
He can't even spell. Look at this fool. Man, I was like, oh, I need to learn how to do some spelling. I need help. Get me a dictionary or something, boy. Boy, she got me so good. I couldn't even say nothing, man. She sent it all over the base to everybody. All the females were chiming in, laughing at me.
Yep.
That's my
You should have stuck with the typewriter and the whiteout.
I was like, oh my God, it was so bad. I was like, man, so yeah, I understand the technology. So let's pause for calls for a minute. You know what I'm saying? For me and him, it's gonna be an awkward silence. For you, you're gonna hear, an advertisement in there. So we're gonna pause for the calls.
Got on the new VA.
All right, that's good enough. He gonna throw something in there. Well, I'm gonna read some of these comments because I don't know if you can see these comments down here, but it is comments down here at the bottom.
Oh, I ain't even see it.
So it's comments. If you hit, you just say comments. It's comments down there. And so my man, I don't know who this was because a lot of people they tell them, hey man, put your name in here so that way we can see you, or else you're gonna come up Facebook user. So it says this is going to be good. Officers are two hands of due. Two hands off. I'm about blind. I'm blind.
Two hands off or something.
This is going to be good. Officers are two hands off due to lack of understanding of the enlisted structure. POW has a unique perspective, being prior enlisted an officer. I think that's good. I think that's the truth. That's true. You know what I'm saying? My man, Black, that's Black right there. He's like he told me to make a rhyme about Shaw. No, it would not be dope. That's a negative. Okay. Then he came, he said James 1:19, dope verse to know, bro. So yeah, got it. And he said something else that's real. You said some good stuff in here. That's where that came from. But yeah, man. I'm not making it. No, I would never make a rhyme about Shaw Air Force Base. Now I did do my first album. We recorded the first album down in Columbia, South Carolina. We did do that, but no, I'm not gonna make a song about Shaw. Sorry. All right. So what? So I'm gonna put you on the spot here. I don't know if you're gonna remember it. I think we talked about this before. I'm gonna see what you're gonna say. What was the first poem or rhyme you ever wrote, if you can remember?
My first poem or rhyme. I remember my first one was called Gray. And even though my perspective has changed, but I was just talking about, because it was a lot of racism happening. This rhyme that I wrote is called Gray, symbolizing combinations of the black and the white. Okay, so when I talk about black and I talk about white, I talk about the same thing, but in a different light. Heck, if you want to get technical with brown and peach, peach gets browner when you hang at the beach. Brown gets peacher with bleach, but each one of us knows this hard to reach. So let's teach and preach, or better yet learn. This is for your own concern, so let's turn the page to another topic, yo. Let's see what you know about Negroes. Chinks fixables, but they act different and they talk different. So your blood type is still either A, B, or O. And that was probably 10th grade.
Dang.
I don't know. 10th or 11th grade. Because I was rapping, then I started wanting to talk about something. Like, I could make up all the stories, but like There's real stuff to talk about. How about you try that? And I think that was my catapult into poetry.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had other things in my mind I wanted to provoke people with. So, I was the first one. I was definitely one of the first poets to sort of start singing a little bit, because I was never really no singer. I mean, I was off the chain in the shower, when the echo right, but I was never, you know, I would harmonize with commercials, but I never was no confident singer. But in poetry, I would ease, and before you know, people say, "Hey, you got a nice voice." I was like, "I don't got no damn voice." Yeah. But it was a muscle,
Yeah.
and actually, poetry helped me exercise it more. And then I remember one day they asked me to sing the national anthem on the bass. I was like, I ain't singing no national anthem. There's such a range. They're like, yo, we really. So I practiced it and I did it, and people stood up. And you can mess that song up if
You
you
messed that song
you
up
don't
badly.
wing that song. You need to know where the key, because
As
there's a
as
low and
Roseanne Barr, she messed that song up
so.
badly.
Oh, but she sort of did that. She didn't even try to.
She didn't try.
No, she intently did that. But you can mess it up while you're doing your best because of the ways the notes. And I put some time in it, showed, and I was like, okay. But I'm still more confident in my poetry than I am in my singing. But
Yeah.
I enjoy being able to add that flow. It's something else that separates you from the average
Oh yeah,
poet.
man. That's one thing I love about you, man. That's one of my things that when I think about POW, I'm like, man, I know I'm gonna get this Caribbean type, you know what I'm saying, type flow. You know what I'm saying? I like that. So that whenever I call on you, I'll be like, yo, I already know what I'm getting. So my next question is, I got to break this out, you know what I'm saying? So my next question is, yes, what was it like to to go to the University of Miami? What was it like to go to the University of Miami? What was it like to go to the U?
It was truly a dope experience. And I went to UN when it was the U, the early 90s. Matter of fact, Warren Sapp was my foosball partner at 11:30 in the student union. Come get some. Ron Marley, a good friend of mine. All these guys were friends. Dwayne Johnson came to all our frat parties. But I sort of didn't know that those days were those days. I sort of kind of walked into it already being back. I didn't have nothing to springboard it off of until I started seeing it from a hindsight. Certainly when I was in it, it was dope. I mean, I knew we was gonna play it, we was gonna win. Like it wasn't even like we already knew what it was.
Yeah.
So I guess it came with a cocky undertone. We won. I wasn't going, we'd be waiting at the frat parties for people to come after because we already knew what it was. But I was able to appreciate it a lot more, even in the hindsight. I was working as a firefighter at the stadium, and they had a 25th year anniversary. I'm telling my age now, right? And all the ball players was out there. So a lot of the firefighters knew I went to UM. They're like, "Oh, so you went to UM? Okay." But where we were working, all them star players was calling, "Yo, Ferg!" They all knew me, and I was like, "See, I was like, Luke Skywalker was right there. Uncle Luke, just happened to be in line and just talking, and they're like, "Yo, you're looking good." And it was just, to see their story and my story and seeing how to cross paths and who went to the pros, who did, who fell off, who didn't make it, or for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But everybody got their own journey.
Yeah.
And so it was definitely something I'm proud of. I came in there fall of '90. So right then
you was right in there. You was right in the thick. You was there for almost all these championships.
Yeah. Then I pledged Phi Beta Sigma in spring of '91. So now I have my Greek letters. Like what? Now I'm stepping. You couldn't tell me nothing. Like what? Being a nursing student, they sort of didn't have a life. I found a way to have a life. Even the nursing school was sort of off the campus, but I came right on back and found a way to balance it. Usually you had to bury. A lot of them say you had a real major. Nursing wasn't no joke back then, but
yeah, man.
So I stayed in my books, but then I got deployed. I got deployed in '93, and then didn't get to come back to UM till '95.
Hey.
yeah, I had to come back to University of Miami '95, and now this is where it was switching. The whole paradigm that was starting to dismantle. So I saw the after. That's where I was able to like, wow, look at what we came from, and look at what we have here. It was almost the movement was so powerful that they had to shake the sheet.
Had to shake. What you think
Mm.
about that, man? So I be hearing cats, you cats Alabama, I done worked at Alabama, and everybody got something to say about everybody. But they be thinking, they be having the little jokes about, UM had a bunch of, thugs and jailbirds and Luke paid the players and all this good stuff, man. I mean, a lot of them cats, I say, man, a lot of dudes came out of poverty. What you want? You know what I'm saying? And the good thing about UM, what they would do, they would get dudes from the neighborhood who wanted an
That
opportunity.
was
They
the game
wasn't going
changer.
recruiting.
They were getting folks from the central, Immokalee,
Yeah.
these places where they ate they yams and they pumpkin.
From the West, they was getting people from the
And
West.
they were already homegrown, acclimated.
Yeah.
That was part of the strategy. But yeah, we were gangster with it, but they rather than win like a gangster, they would rather dismantle that and it's never recovered than rather
No.
have that image. I mean, a lot of people don't realize though, University of Miami, I mean, it's a private school. University of Miami is a private Jewish school.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Um,
You teaching
yeah,
me something
like
I don't know.
just like the Fighting Irish is a private Catholic school, which probably even piques the rivalry in its own way. But yeah, UM is a private. You would never think that it's a private Jewish school, and I got the bill to prove it.
Yeah, I bet, man. I mean,
Yeah,
now because you don't know a lot of people, especially a lot of black folk. That, I knew a couple cats I went to school with too, man. That went out to the U. But here I'm sitting with some. That's why I said your journey and your story is a powerful one because everything that somebody who's a young black man or a young person should aspire to be, man. You went to the military, you became an officer, you went to the Army, you went to the Air Force, you're a nurse, you're a fireman, you know what I'm saying? And you went to the University of Miami. So you a young cat in Miami, and young cat in general, man. You showing people that look, it can be done. Don't say that it can't happen because I did it. You know what I'm saying?
and
So
I appreciate that. There's moments I had to dig deep. I wasn't one of them brothers that just crack a book and I only read it last night and bust them. Hey, I used to have to get it in. I'd have to do 3, 4 in the morning to make sure I can compete. Um, you know, Sometimes I felt like I had to try harder. Man, you made it look so easy, but you don't know their walk. And but the bottom line is, uh, I made it through. It's like wow.
yeah, you did.
I remember I was graduating. I was like, wow. I said I was going to do this, and I did this. Came back to school, had to get realigned. The nursing program had changed, so I had to grab a degree in psychology and nursing. All your people graduated, so I had to decide this is now my walk. I don't got nobody to race this out with. This is you. What you gonna do? Soon after, I started with a family. So I was moving, but it was my journey.
Man.
And the minute you stop trying to parallel or compare it to someone else's, it's the moment you're free
Yeah.
to move.
Show, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of you, man. Like I said, everybody say they you know what I'm saying, it's all about the you, but you could definitely say I rock you stuff all the time. I rock you stuff all day long because I'm from Miami. But it's just a handful of dudes that actually could say they could wear that ring and they went to the University of Miami. So
I appreciate that.
hey, hats off to you, man. You know what I'm saying? Hats off. I'm gonna take my hat off because people probably think I ain't got no hair, but yeah, I got hair.
You see, I had to throw in the towel.
I'm always wearing a hat, you know what I'm saying? Hats off, you know what I mean? So
Your
my
tape's
next
still
question,
intact. You good? I said your tape. You got like 11th grade tape.
I'll be like, woo.
I'm done. I had to throw in the towel.
Anyway, hey. So I got, before we get to the last couple, man. Well, I'm almost to the end. This is pretty much the last question. So last week before last, I did a show, on Real and Food, and I was on there, and we had Brother Marquise on there. So we're gonna talk about Miami music and and some of this stuff, man. When we was coming up, when I say Anquiette to throw the P girls, you know what I'm talking about. When I say LaJuan Love, everybody say yeah. You can probably say it like me, word for word, every rhyme. MC Shadi, that whole Luke era, whole Luke thing. So, it was a big thing for me to be sitting down with Brother Marquise. Now, Brother Marquise a part of our podcast. And his manager is now my manager. So all this stuff happened, man. Yeah, man. just like that, for the blessing of being able to sit down with this brother. This brother is a good dude, man. And sometimes you don't realize, we was all just looked at him in Miami, like, you don't realize the stuff that went on behind the scenes and how these people really,
a lot of
they
history
humans,
there.
they suffered, you know what I'm saying, a whole lot. And and if you watch the show, man, he got some stuff off his chest because he had to get that off. We see Uncle Luke, you know, whatever, but what, you know, I ain't saying, you know, dudes had their own paths and they had some things that they did, but, you know, these dudes was legends to us. They was legends to us growing up in Miami. And those who don't know, you know, I'm sitting here with somebody who from Carroll City, who from North,
Changed the game.
who know what it is, who came up in the 90s, who's heard that music and stuff like that, who had them experiences. So, you know, I just, you know, I'm getting to the music part of Miami stuff right now with you, but I just wanted to touch on that, man, because I never thought that here I am, 47 years old. I'm telling my age, 47. You know what I'm saying? And that's why my album is called 47. You know what I'm saying? And I'm here meeting one of my childhood guys. And he called me the other day. He called me Sunday. He called me yesterday. Brother Marquise from the Two Live Crew called me. You know what I'm saying? But I don't even look at it like that. I look at it like this is here another brother. Because I see him more as maybe a big brother or somebody, and maybe I'm that way for him as that way. I don't approach it like that. Because I don't want that. I want that man to feel comfortable when he called me, so it ain't even about that. But I'm saying this because I know you know what that meant to us. And on top of that, you know, and on top of that, you had an experience. And so I'm going to go into that because not only the manager, you know, she told me, hey, I got a call from one JT Money about doing some things, getting some of his stuff back. You know, he kind of lost in this whole Luke stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you had the unique opportunity to battle JT Money and from the Poison Clan, and Debonair from Home Team, originally of the Poison Clan. So I said all that to come back around and say, what was that like? What was a young JT Money and a Debonair like, battling them in the lunchroom or wherever he was at Northern?
You know, those were some good times. So I was a year ahead, right? So JT Money, we was always cool. So it was Debonair was kind of the new dude, you know, with the New York vibe. I was like, who's this? You know? And you know, I had already worked my way towards a couple battles, but the brother was nice. It was like, oh, you know, it was like a whole new structure. You know, he came with a whole nother angle and added it to that Miami flow from the New York, and then Poison Clan created their own magic. So those were the days when we were watching it happen. Low Life Mother, you know. And so there was a lot of events, you know, Strawberries, Base Station.
Oh yeah.
So these are all places we would all travel. You know, I hit Randolph's, you know, and then, you know, you would cross paths with them, even my early days, Fifth Street, Luke's, you know.
Fifth Street, yeah.
Fifth Street Reggae, and then Lime Key was my joint because, you know, I'm still part of the Trini Massive, you know, so it was just a good era. But coming from that high school era, you already knew, you know, he was a laid back brother. JT was cool as ice, you know. He ain't talk a whole lot, you know what I'm saying? You know, but always had a pound, always had a good dialogue, always had a good energy, cool spirit. You know, so when they came they down there and they created this the synergy that just put New Orleans on the map, you know, it was bragging rights, you know. It was like, yo, Vikings in the building, dance all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, even before Dance All Night, man, so that whole crew, Terrence Howe, you know, I Shorty, there's a whole bunch of them boys, Uzi, all these guys that, you know, these are guys I still talk to every now and then on Facebook. And shoot, any couple of weeks we'll hit back on Facebook, or I might catch them in Atlanta or the Northern reunion. They already know what it is, you know. I know that if they saw me in public, they'll come give me a pound. They know who I am. It ain't end. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing but love. We keep it real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good era, man. And that was
man. Miami had, it was a good era. And I was talking about, I don't know if you had a chance to do this, man, but I was talking to Brother Marquise about it when he was on I was on another show, man. I was like, do you remember the day after Christmas at the Miami Arena? Did you ever get a chance? And Luke would throw that concert. Did you ever go to a couple of those concerts? See, I do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Who you got to check? I got to see Tough Crew. I got to see EPMD. I got to see Slick Rick. I got to see all these cats that came down.
Yeah. EPMD was definitely one of my favorite duos. Strictly Business was my joint.
Woo, that was my joint.
Man, but yeah, I got to see Big Daddy Kane. I got to see Eric B. and Rakim. When he came on the stage, Put Your Hands Together. I see LL, Slit Rick,
Yeah.
Cool G Rap, who I think was underrated. He was ahead
It's
of
very
the game.
underrated. Very
He
underrated.
was underrated. That dude was flowing way before he was putting work together early. A lot of the Juice Crew. MC Shan was, now the thing is, I used to go back. You probably don't know, or it didn't, I was born in Brooklyn, New York.
I
So,
know you talk. I
so
think
I
you
had
talked about that.
family
You
in New
talk
York.
about that being
So I
born in
remember I
Brooklyn.
would go bowling. I remember one time I went bowling with MC Shan, from the Juice Crew. So I had people down there. I mean, the block I grew up in New York was not that far from Biggie. And we have the same birthday, except I'm 1 year older and I'm here now.
Okay.
So I'm May 21st.
Hey.
Of the year. So it was a lot of similarities. And it's sort of like, you realize you kind of Forrest Gump that ride indeed. I had all these shoulders, all these connections with so many powerful areas and people. And these life's a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get.
No.
And even his story, he had no ego in a way. He was like, okay.
Yeah.
It's not like, yeah, that can't happen. But my story mirrors that, the adventure, the range, the polarity of, moments. I couldn't have designed it. That's why I can't change anything. Oh, yes, I had some ego bruising moments. Some, ooh, ow. Oh, yeah. But you know what? I've managed to create a space where I can delete that hard drive a little easier. If it don't serve me, I've gotten better through the years, and certainly now. I've gotten good with deleting things that bothered me in extreme, like to the point where I know it pissed me off, but I can't tell you detail. I've gotten really good with that. So I think it's set me up where you kind of catch more of the good moments. And I've been deployed enough and asked to dip into your mental Rolodex, to dip into your safe space enough to know that I had to get better of creating that hard drive. Because I remember times hearing bombs and stuff go off and trying to get your mind, and you had to fumble and dig. So I started photographing them. I started putting them in my pocket, So
Yeah.
I had some rough moments, but I had too many good ones to be tripping.
Yeah, man.
In
That's how I
essence.
feel. That's how I feel, man. Like I said, I always represent the crib. I'm always gonna be the crib dude. But I'm happy about my journey, man. That's why I'm able to sit here, man. Who would have thought here I am sitting here doing a podcast, you know what I mean? And I'm able to bring cats like you on and represent the home team and have people that I respect and I admire come on the show and come on here, and I'm able to talk to them, and hopefully this will spread and get more military people to come on, because I know there's plenty of us out there. They just need to have a venue, and that's why I was all excited about coming and making this happen.
I appreciate you. You wasn't gonna let me slide either. You was like,
no,
yeah,
I told you I was gonna get you on here.
I was like, I got you.
You was not going. No, I was going. I said because everybody got to hear this story, man. I mean, you're an example.
It's funny. I just got in town yesterday. I took my kids, my younger to the Busch Gardens, and got in town and worked. I got to work, and I hit it. Had a little fire rescue thing. The COVID thing going on, and that's a whole nother dialogue. But I said I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make sure I represent for my dude.
And you did, man. You did. So this is that point. So we was gonna play one of your songs, one of the videos. We had all that lined up. And one of the songs I was gonna play on here was gonna be what you gonna do here a cappella. So every now and then the last cat to come on here and do stuff but we MCs and we performers. So we know how to do stuff off the top, off the cuff. That's what hip hop was formed of anyway. So when you have technical difficulties and technical issues, you roll with the punches. So we was having a little trouble, getting this stuff uploaded on here. So I said, yo, my man, you want to do this a cappella? And you were like, yeah.
Okay.
You jammed it back there with me.
Actually, it was my phone ringing.
It
was actually off my it was actually the instrumental from one of my tracks from Friendly Fire. I was trying to cut it off.
Yes, man. I said, yes, man. Gonna be a Cosby Show moment, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, but hey, this that moment where I'm gonna let you do your thing. After you finish, we'll go into some of your social media and all that good stuff. But I want you. I know you finna do the song that I like. You perform this at my retirement. I like it a lot, and I think it represents what this show is about, and it represents you in a whole, and and all of that, man. So, without further ado, I'm gonna let you do your thing. This is for my soldiers, right? That's the name of it, right?
Yeah.
This is for my soldiers
All
by
right.
my man
We go
POW.
improvise. And so again, there's those songs that you created that end up being good poems, and there's some poems that end up being really good songs. This was actually written first as a song, and it finally has come back around and completed as a song, but it ended up being one of my most reliable and favorite poems,
It
just
is.
from the soul that it offered. Wrote
I
a
love
song
it.
about it. Want to hear?
Yes.
Here you go. This is for my soldiers, to all my fly girls and boys. This is for the Semper Fi and you sailors, Coast Guard, keep on giving. This is for the camouflage and the boots, the ribbon and metal dub suits, missing mom's chicken soup. And since freedom isn't free, all you troops keep on living. By the time that I was 18, I was wearing a camouflage suit. I traded my suede Adidas for a pair of combat boots. I gave up my pen and my paper to use my index finger to shoot. And my aim was nothing cute. But the truth, I know what it feels like to have bullets ringing by your ear. And I know what it feels like to smell victory in out the air, though you're living out the foxhole. This war we got it on lock though, but really it's not so. Cause hey, who's gonna fix my daughter's tacos? I mean, who's gonna squeeze me and think that I'm macho? Encourage me so that I got your flow. Power of words is off the page like Sacho. And at first, it was all about the GI Bill. And I thought about the price of college and the fees I'd kill. And after 5 years, I lived it. And another 5, I loved it. 5 more, I'm praying about the enemies I'd kill. And I will, cause I wanna go home to my family. I have to do this for my country. Understand me? The Army. This is for my soldiers, the Air Force. To all my fly girls and boys, Marines. This is for the Semper Fi and your sailors, Coast Guard, keep on giving. This is for the camouflage and the boots, the ribbon and metal dub suits, missing mom's chicken soup. And since freedom isn't free, all you troops keep on living. Dear Father, protect my family when I'm gone. I mean, forgive me, I never thought I'd have to leave them alone. I'm still the man of the house, no doubt, but I'm gone. Time to visit, this time is what I'm facing, time from now on. And at first you try to paint this different picture in your mind, like it's some overseas vacation from a specified time, right? But the first time you hear a grown man scream, you question whether to pull out your rifle or to pull out your weapon. Now, I don't know this cat, but I trust him like my mama. Because without teamwork, you can end it like a period, or you can continue with a comma. But Major Marlon Ferdinand, known as POW, and there were my rifle and Bible and mindful of my whole armor. This is more than a saga with Osama. The best widescreen playwright could not encapsulate all the drama. Like that unexpected letter to your mama, signed, sealed, delivered with integrity, courage, valor, and honor, and honor. Got a letter in the mail, go to war or go to. Hold up, wait a minute. Check that foxhole, make sure no grenades in it. See, this is for the red, white, blue, and the green too. Black, white, yellow, and camouflage, that's my team too. But only God and a few really seen you and couldn't believe what you've been through. The Army. This is for my soldiers, the Air Force, to all my fly girls and boys, Marines. This is for the Semper Fi Navy. And you sailors, Coast Guard, keep on giving. This is for the camouflage and the boots, the ribbon and metal dub suits, missing mom's chicken soup. And since freedom isn't free, all you troops keep on living. Freedom isn't free, y'all. What love. Just keep on living.
Oh yeah.
Peace.
Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my favorite joints. I'm happy I could capture it on this show because that's what I wanted. I wanted to get it on here. Now the song that you got is hot too. So I want to get it on here, but put it this the music and you rhyming on it and it's hot. You know what I mean? But Right now we improvise. We still made it happen on here. That's what we do. That's what hip hop is about. On
That's
the
what it's all
spot
about.
sometimes. So before we get out of here, man, you know what I'm saying? Talk about your book. I tell you, I wasn't gonna let you forget that. Your book. You can talk about, you know what I'm saying, all your social media, everything you got everywhere, where somebody can check out some of your videos and your music, and let the people know.
Usually I ain't that good with this, so I got to get with it because there's so much good stuff. Yeah, you always get on me about that.
I do, don't
I
I?
got Instagram, Marlon POW on Instagram. POWspeaks.com is my website. Right now it's under construction though, because now I'm putting up a lot more new footage and platforms. Of course, there's my video. You can see it on YouTube. Yeah, I'll put in friendly fire and put POW, which stands for power of words, but just put friendly fire POW, and you see me pop up a camouflage. That's my video. It's called Friendly Fire. It's a life story journey. I'm very proud of it. And so I have a book. I'll be pressing the button on this in the next few days. Bam! So this is the example one. So you see, it has the firefighter here, the military here, and the civilian here. They got the nurse on the back, but really it's a story of vision and endurance. It's 28 poems broken down in my 7 principles, my 7 pillars. It's the man, the motivation, the ministry, the military, the mindset, the medicine, and the manuscripts.
Yes.
So the motivation, family. I got stuff about a dad writing a letter to his daughters on his way to war. About meeting my son for the first time. Now I'm all Let It Snow, which is about when it was in Afghanistan. When it snowed, it was quiet, but when the sun rose and the weather got better, people were dying. So that poem is called Let It Snow. So that's on the military. It just talks about my journey, my walk. The ministry. I have a lot of spiritually provoking pieces. Um, uh, One called Where's the Sunshine, which is the story of Job and how we can relate to our story being a modern day Job, essentially. And he gets tested and tried, but in the end, he came forth as gold. My prayer, these are things that got me through. I have it broken down. Got some photos in there. Yeah, you seen that? Got
I
some
saw
photos.
that. Yeah.
This was in Hawaii. I was on a boat just playing around doing the Titanic. And so when we came back from we're doing what we call Med Ready. We set up clinics in their schools, and everybody was trying to do it and copycat. But when it was only at that time I realized it was a gift, because the sun isn't guaranteed to be in front of you. We were going this phase over here. So I realized I took it for granted and just did it, and I realized it was a moment. So I'm glad I was able to capture it and put it on here. So it's 142 pages. It has some good stuff in here. I'm excited about this project. I've been brewing it for a minute.
Where you gonna be able to get it from? Where can you get it from?
Oh, so I'm gonna have it on all platforms. Certainly, it's gonna be on marlonpow.com. So look out for that. While my website is under construction, there is a link that I can send you to actually right now, so you can see just a forward of the website. However, yeah, Marlon POW though, marlonpow.com. POW Speaks is my YouTube channel. So Friendly Fire, and stay tuned. I'm really excited about this project. I have one coming. It's called From the Front Line, and I talk about every part of it. The front line being our heroes. I'll give you just a sneak on the hook. Nothing to fear but fear itself will tell our inside to face the sacrifice and service on the outside. With all the loss and so much pain before our eyes. These are some of the stories from the front line. The paramedic is ready to get it. The registered nurse is ready to work. The National Guard is in camouflage with the cops fighting the odds before a giant. Give it up for the front line hero. Just a little song, you know what I'm saying?
I like it.
And then, but it's a banger.
Yeah.
I talk about the walk of a firefighter. I talk about the military veteran. I talk about the nurse. Different angles, different perspectives, so you can be engrossed. And I'm not even talking for me. It's just coming out of me. So it's a chance. Nobody's talking about this. And so I look forward to getting this project. The video is going to be coming out. So all this, looking out. I'll come back on here. We'll shoot this again. I'm gonna shoot it your way so you can spread it to the fans and let them know. Appreciate you checking me out. And we got it done, baby.
We got it done, man. So
here's that link. Where's that link I had? I had it set up for me. So yeah, YouTube channel. But yeah, check me out. POW Speaks. There's a link that can attach you to it. But while it's under construction, but we waited out because when I unleash it, I just wanted to reach everybody and just enjoy it.
What about your first album? You know what I mean? Because I remember I had. So you talk about the first album real quick before we get out of here. Just
So it's Rules of Engagement, Friendly Fire, but Rules of Engagement it still can be purchased. It's still actually on what was our platform? It's still
CD
there.
Baby.
Yeah, they still got some on CD Baby. It can also be sold on the website. I plan on having some snippets on there to listen for the pleasure, just to bring people on the path of yesterday, because when I listen to that it's old to me, but man, you realize when you're away from it, you realize its relevance and that your new growth, it's new relevance, and even with your mature mind, you get to be reminded of you had something to say even back then. It's not you're not necessarily wise to state, not lyrically all the time. Sometimes I'm looking back, I'm like, man, that was genius. What was I thinking? You know what I'm saying? So
it was a good album. I I still bump it.
Yeah, that album really, that was a gift. That one had way more reach than I've ever planned. So that's when I began my journey, and I had to come to terms with, you got something to offer this game, POW. I'm here for the long haul.
You do, man. You got some. I'm happy that you came on here, man. I've been trying. When I try to give people on here something that they can grip them. It's a little, that's stick to them. And you said some stuff on here. You probably gonna go back and look at this like that. I said that. Yeah, man. You don't even know how powerful the power of words, how powerful what you just said on here, and how you gonna probably influence some young airmen. So, seamen. Coast Guardsmen, Marine, or a soldier, man. You gonna
all these warriors out there, these young warriors.
Yeah, the young warriors out there, man. So that's the end of the show, man. So I'm happy you came on. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna throw you the salute, and you know what I'm saying. We gonna keep it. We gonna catch up, man. We gonna keep it.
Yes, my brother. One love to you, to the fans. Thank you for tuning in. Keep an AR for your boy. Power of words. POW. One love.